Gentlemen, fellas, welcome back to another video. I titled this video, guys, how to be irresistibly attractive as a man. Now, as you guys already know, I never give you guys tactics or tricks. This is not one of those channels, right? I always talk about becoming a certain caliber of a man, right? I'm not giving you guys, surface level self-improvement tips, right? Rather, I'm trying to aggrandize you gentlemen and make you into the best version of yourself. That being said, for those of you that are new to the channel, make sure to check out my mindset and my dating playlist. I've spoken about how to be seductive with women. I've spoken about how to love a woman and not, be attached. I've spoken about how to exude boss energy, all of these different things. Make sure to check that after this video. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about some things that I've noticed in my experiences of dating women and living all over the world, right? Having relationships in different languages, in Spanish, Italian, right? Obviously Creole because I'm Haitian. Just dating women all over the world. I've noticed these things as I began to work on myself as a man. What really started to garner the deep attention and overall attraction of women. That being said, fellas, let's get started with the video. So, the first way to be irresistibly attractive as a man, and I've spoken about this in previous videos, right? But I'm still seeing guys struggling with this, and I struggled with this. This is why this is so important right here, right? Is being poised, right? You see, a lot of guys, and we don't even realize it, unbeknownst to us, we breathe very shallow, right? It's like, and you come off as being frantic. When you're in an interaction, right? When you're communicating with a woman, you want to be poised. You want to be calm. You want to be, relaxed with your movements, because a woman is observing that in you, right? She's looking at your body language. She's gauging. You see, your body language gives off more than your words do. So you can be saying one thing, but if your body language is conveying something else, which more times than not is conveying how you really feel about yourself, how you view yourself, right? This can be a major turnoff to a lot of women. That being said, you want to be poised. You want to be calm when you're talking, when you're interacting. And this goes for anything in life. You want to be poised, right? I see a lot of guys, they're like shaking and frantic because they're nervous, right? If you're making a cold approach and you're approaching a woman, I get it. You're a little bit in a state of angst, right? You're a little bit nervous, like your heart is beating faster. I get it. You feel me? It happens to me sometimes, but you gotta remember to be poised and to be calm, right? And when you're poised and you're calm, it comes off as you being more confident. And women are very attracted to men who are confident, right? And so you have to learn how to be poised and calm. For me, I always just take my time. Like I'm not in a rush. And I'm not in a rush because I know who I am, right? I take my time. If I want to cold approach a woman, right? I just approach her, hey, right? Hey, my name is this, how are you? Da, da, da. Whatever the scenario may be, you want to be poised, relax, okay. All right, engaged, listening. And what I have found is that when you're poised and you're calm, women are able to relax with you more, and they find me more attractive, and they'll find you more attractive when you're calm. Now, what I've come to realize, the tips I give you are things that I've gone through in my personal life. The guys that I help them overcome things that I have dealt with. And what I noticed, and you guys know, I'm always honest with you. I keep it a buck. I'm transparent, you feel me? I'm not gonna lie to you. What I noticed is the period in my life where I transitioned from dating average looking women to like women that I consider to be like beautiful, striking, gorgeous, right? The period where I transitioned from just dating women that were kind of like 6s to like 8s, 9s, there was a period where I was like a little bit frantic and not poised because I had never experienced a woman that beautiful before. So I was a little bit like nervous. Even if I had her, I couldn't retain her. And it was because what? When you're not calm, when you're not poised, that signals to the woman that you've never had a woman of her S&V before. You've never had a woman of this beauty before, of this stature. And y'all know the saying, you treat her like a what? She's gonna treat you like a fan, right? And so You know, I think a lot of men, when they finally get a woman that's like really beautiful, that can happen. But whether she's a, like a 9 out of 10, whether she's a 6 or 7, you gotta treat them all the same in the sense of she's a human being, bro. She shits just like you, and you gotta be chill. You gotta be poised. You can't gas her up too much, right? You have to just be yourself. You have to be in yourself, right? In your frame. Like, you have to understand who you are, know your worth, know your value. And when you know all these things, which by the way, you get the value by actually putting in the work on yourself. It's not just gonna happen. You can't fake this shit, bro. You gotta become it, right? And once you do all these things, now you can be poised and you're rooted in yourself. And this is why a lot of women, it's always been like this. They like older men. And older men, not only do older men signal safety, provision, but older men are rooted in their identity. Older men know exactly who they are, right? Like, that's the difference between somebody who's like 35 and 20 or 25. Like, typically, a younger man is really, he's malleable. He's always changing. He doesn't really know himself yet. But an older man is like rooted, confident. Listen, baby, like, this is what it is and this is what it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, type of like attitude. And that's attractive to women. When you know who you are, when you're certain of yourself and you're poised and you're calm, no pressure, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one, fellas. Moving into number two, stop being outcome dependent. So the reason why I am a man, well, partially why I'm able to be so poised and calm is because I don't give a fuck. I'm not outcome dependent on anything. I'm not outcome dependent on smashing her. I'm not outcome dependent on her being my girlfriend. I'm not outcome dependent on anything. Why is that? Well, for one, as I mentioned previously, you have to do the work on yourself, right? Now, I've spoken to you guys already about this concept, about your self-image, how to reprogram your mind to really become a man of high status, of great grandeur, preeminence, all that stuff, right? So once you do the work, right? Once you do that visceral work on yourself to become that man and you overcome your mental battles every day, because yes, brother, I know you go through mental battles. I still go through mental battles every single day, but you got to be able to regulate that, regulate yourself, put on your big boy pants and go out in the world and produce. And as you do that, this is when you build that confidence. This is when you build that magnetic aura, right? That shit can't be faked. A man has to earn that shit. A man has to be that shit. You feel me? Now, once you've done all this, right, it's like, yo, I done went through 2 wars in my mind before my feet hit the ground today. So I don't give a fuck about this girl. And it's not like in a dismissive or arrogant or like a unhealthy way. It's just saying at the end of the day, you know that you got you. And that's self-love. You know what I'm saying? So that's on a more deeper, visceral level, right? And so when a man has that self-love for himself and that appreciation, which you'd be surprised, a lot of men walking around here don't have self-love for themselves. And you can see it by their external. They don't take care of themselves, which we'll get to later on in this video. But when a man has that self-love for himself because he does the work, he takes care of himself, right? You're not outcome dependent, because at the end of the day, you know, man, whether I get this girl, whether this business deal falls through, and this goes for everything in life. Whatever happens, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm proud of myself as a man. I'm happy. I'm advancing. I'm so proud of myself. I'm better than I was yesterday. We're going to be okay. And man, when you get that peace as a man, bro, like, I'm trying not to get emotional right now, bro, because like I'm telling you guys, real grown man shit. Like, we go through so many wars as men, and it's a bit taboo to speak about emotions and things like that, right? And I tell you guys, don't wear your heart on the sleeve as a man. You gotta eat that shit, bro. Simple. Eat that shit. When you're in the right setting, if the setting permits it to talk about your issues with your brothers, cool. Otherwise than that, bro, stoic. Don't let nobody see any chink in your armor. Damn sure not your woman, bro. That might be controversial for some people. Now, if it's your wife, that's a whole nother conversation. But the fact is, fellas, you cannot be outcome dependent. When you guys are on these dates with these girls, like a lot of you guys are only thinking about smashing, right? You're thinking about taking her home and beating it down. Understandable. We're men with high testosterone, right? I get it, right? But you have to learn how to control yourself, gentlemen. Yes, control is also sexy to women, right? When a man has control, it's the same thing like this. If you are a dangerous man, right? You're not dangerous because, oh, I can go kill this guy. No, you're dangerous because you know you can inflict damage, but you're friendly, you're calm, you're respectful, you're a gentleman, right? That's a man that's scary, not a man that's walking around puffing his chest. Oh, man, listen, that man's insecure because he has to peacock. Uh-oh, we talking about it. Yes, sir, we talking about it, right? When a man has to peacock, that's insecurity, fellas, right? I'm not saying you can't, show off your accolades and what you've done. Nah, that's fine, brother. Talk your shit. But when you have to peacock, like some people, right? I'm not gonna say no names. When you have to peacock, when you have to rely on certain things, whether that's your money, whether that's your size. We've also spoken about tall men who are little bitches, right? Anything that you have to rely on when you're dependent, right? When you're dependent, you're insecure. So by not being outcome dependent, this is wildly attractive to women. It's like, hey, listen, man, we're gonna go on this date, you feel me? Get to know each other and, flow. Whatever happens, happens, and no expectations, right? Like, for example, like for me, I'm seeing a girl right now, and I told her straight up, I'm like, hey, look, I'm a man who, I travel a lot. I might not be here this month, I might be here next month, I might not. And it's just like, I'm saying, look, I'm a gentleman, I'm letting you know right now, as we're getting to know each other, I'm gonna be all over the place, okay? So I don't wanna hurt you, but I'm just letting you know right now. I tell every girl that I see that because it's the truth. I am all over the place. One second I'm in Asia, next second I'm in South America, then I'm in Europe. So it's like, I tell them this and they always stay. They always do, you know what I'm saying? So that's that, fellas. Moving on. Number 3, playful banter. You see, a lot of you gentlemen, isn't it ironic how the dude that used to have a debilitating stutter is telling you guys how to converse and have playful banter? You see, this is the power of taking control of your mind, right? And reshifting your self-image and paradigm. But I digress. So I found that in my experiences, right? Playful banter with women. Now, listen, guys, let's be honest, right? You're on this channel because you're into self-improvement, right? I assume, right? Hey, I assume you're a man that's into improving yourself. Okay, cool. That's me too. Now, if you're a man that's into improving yourself, you've been in the red pill atmosphere. And at least for me, when I was getting into self-improvement and I got into the red pill space and I'm watching all these videos, it really gave me like a warped view of life, right? And so what happened to me is like, I got to this place where I was so rigid, right? Like having that one-tracked mindset of like, oh no, it's like you become extremely rigid, right? And that's not attractive at all. Oh, women are just this, it's just your turn, oh, she gonna do this, or 304, rigidity, bro. And so I would find myself not being my full eclectic self as the Renaissance man that I am, right? I wasn't being playful. Listen, I'm a very goofy dude, bro. Like, I'm serious when I have to be serious. I get my work done. I'm on my grind. But I like to have fun. I like to play around. I like to enjoy life because this shit ain't promised, bro. I've been having people die around me left and right, so I'm going to live this one. You know what I'm saying? So I found out that, like, just play. Be yourself. And the feminine appreciates that, right? You gotta be able to playful banter. And so for me, I just like to talk. I like to converse. Like, I love women. I love to converse with them, play, build up, tease them. And this makes you irresistibly attractive as a man. So I like to play around with my banter, how I talk to women, how I engage them. And this is where kind of like being intelligent comes into play. Depending on what region, what country I'm in, where I'm at in the world, I'll tweak my vernacular, if you will, to speak to this particular woman based off of her cultural identity and beliefs, right? Like just understanding different people, right? And so, like for example, if I'm in, let's say for this example, I am in Latin America, right? And I'm in Argentina. I'm in Argentina and I'm on a date with a girl and we're talking and we're engaging and she says something slick, right? I'll be like, oye, ¿por qué no estás hablando así? Ah, no, vos no me estás hablando así, ¿cierto? ¿Sabe qué? Yo apuesto, que preferías si yo te castigara, ¿cierto? Ah, pero apuesto que eso te fascina, ¿no? And I talk to them like that, and I can instantly see them get turned on, instantly. And you gotta understand how to play with different women, right? Play with them, you know, open them up, right? Open them up at the dinner table, like I said, right? Foreplay doesn't start, you know, in the bedroom. It starts from the second that you're with her, right? Because as she's analyzing you, and your woman is analyzing you, trust me, right? Your woman is trying to pick you apart to break you down on a subconscious level, unbeknownst to them. And I always recognize these little cues and like tests that they do because I've dated women all over the world, bro. I'm not new to this. And so, like, any little slick thing that she says, I'm on it. And I'm playing on it. I'm not being stern like I was back when I was consuming a bunch of red pill content. Nah, I understand women for what they are, right? I understand the feminine for what they are. And I always like to use this analogy, which I've said before on the channel. You gotta envision the feminine like white, wild water. And as a man, your job is not to control that wild, white water, right? Emotions are all over the place, right? Your job as a man is to be the canal that guides that white water to get to its destination, right? You're the canal, you're the structure, the frame. And you let a woman do what she do because a woman is gonna magnify what you give her, right? And so for me, I love being around feminine energy, bro. And I've been honest with you guys before. I said, look, I've never been a man that's been into like drugs or anything like that, or clubbing or whatever. But my one vice has always been women. And I've lost myself before in women, and I've had to control that. So now I control it, but I still love being around women. I love playing around with them, joking, like teasing, building up that tension, and then going in there and sauteing. You know what I'm saying? It's playful banter, right? Playful banter. You gotta know how to engage your woman, right? You gotta know how to do that. And so once you're able to do that, fellas, trust me, you become irresistibly attractive. Number 4, give her space. Now again, this isn't a tactic. I'm a very busy man. I have a lot of things going on. In fact, after filming this video, I've got a call, right? But give her space. You can't be all over her. You can't be smothering her. And this goes back to what I was saying. When you guys get a beautiful woman that you actually desire, if you do at all, because most of you don't, you can start to think in a place and in a position of lack, right? And a woman can feel your uncertainty, right? And hey, it happens to the best of us, brother. I'm telling you this because I've done these things, bro. I've gone through all these things, bro. I've had my heart broken. I've fumbled. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all these things, right? And so you've got to give her space. You can't be texting her every day. You shouldn't be texting her every day. You should be on your grind. You should be grinding. You should be building your empire, right? And a woman will be in addition to that. Remember how I said the woman magnifies everything that you give her. Really, you should be texting when you're setting up a date, in my honest opinion. Especially in the beginning stages of talking to women. Like for example, let's say that you go on a first date, right? Okay, cool. You went on a first date. Let's say that first date went well. All right, cool. After that first date that went well, she's gonna text you, hey, I had such a great time. Now for me, after the first date, I always tell them, text me when you get home. If I'm not dropping them home, I say, hey, text me when you get home. I like to make sure that they got home safe and everything. So boom, she'll text me, hey, I got home, I had such a great night, right? I heart it, that's it. We'll talk when she reaches out again, you know what I'm saying? Typically, it's the next day because she's in this early infatuation stage, which is natural, you know what I'm saying? She'll text me. I'll text her back, but I'm always working. I'll text her, that's it. A day will go by, 2 days will go by, 3 days will go by. It's the next weekend. She'll text me. I'll text her, hey, I'm free this day, let's get together, right? Go on the second date, right? By the second date, I'm not gonna lie, fellas, my closing rate is like 98%. You know what I'm saying? I probably shouldn't even be saying this on the internet, but nonetheless, I'm not giving any like intricate details about my life or anything, nor am I saying anything about specific women. But I'm just saying, by the second date, I'm like Hall of Fame mode. I'm shooting like 98% from the field, right? 98. And by the third date, I'm 100 for 100. You know what I'm saying? But just saying, by that point, now that we've been physically intimate and there's more of a connection, though that doesn't solidify anything, but it will bring more of a connection if you're not with a harlot, right? If you're with a healthy woman, now she starts to get more infatuated with you. Listen to me, bro. I'm giving you thousands of dollars worth of game right here, bro. And I never like to say game, but this is just what it is. Cause like, I'm not teaching tactics. This is just who I am, right? This is just life, right? As a man, when you start to, date women or whatever. And by this time, she's more infatuated, especially if you did your job and you laid the wood, which if you were in my Modern Renaissance Man coaching program, you would know how to, right? Once you've done this, now she's more infatuated, now she's reaching out more. I'm not saying be distant, but the thing is you're a man that's on your purpose. So you've got your priorities, which is your life. That's at the forefront, right? And then you fit her in when you can, right? A woman should never be your top priority, right? And unbeknownst to her, she's gonna yearn for you more, which is healthy. Your woman should yearn for you, right? She should yearn for you. So by giving her that healthy space, it invites a natural yearning, which what? It ignites the passion. It ignites the fire. So now, when she comes over your place, or you go to hers or whatever, this is when you get that spicy, erotic, nasty, passionate, you know what I'm saying? That's when you get, she's just fucking your brains out. That's how you get it. But you gotta position yourself that way, fellas. You can't be texting, you can't be outcome dependent, you can't be, fervent and zealous, frantic and no, poised, not outcome dependent. Give her healthy space. You're focused on yourself. You're doing your thing. You're respectful. You're a gentleman. You carry yourself with class. You treat her right. You treat her like a lady, right? You respect her. You're doing all these different things, bro. This is when you start to get the best out of your woman, because now you've gotten psychological leverage. You've positioned yourself as a man of great grandeur, right? And this isn't a tactic, again. Might I remind you, gentlemen, this isn't a tactic. I'm not teaching you no tips. No, this is how you position your life to get leverage over everything. This is how you live like a boss. Listen, for those of you that are actually paying attention, that are still watching this part of the video, you just got thousands of dollars worth of game, bro. I've lived all over the world. I've dated women all over the world. I've fumbled. I've messed up. Listen. I'm telling you, it's easy now. It's automatic. I don't even have to try. I walk outside and a woman is. Anyway, fellas, moving on. Number five, and again, I'm gonna preface this by saying this is not a tactic. This is who I am as a man. Number 5 is, you want to be a little bit vulnerable. Now, listen to me. When I'm saying vulnerable, I'm not saying wearing your heart on a sleeve and being a pushover or just completely point out your guts to a woman. No, that's unattractive, right? You have to be somewhat stoic. What I mean is this, and I'll give you guys an example because I'm a very practical man. So this past weekend, I was on a date with a beautiful woman. She's beautiful. And we were talking, we were conversing, and I typically hear this same thing between all the women that I've, seen or dated. They always end up saying this: wow, I can't believe I just told you all that. Oh wow, I can't believe I just opened all that. I can't believe I just opened up so much to you. That felt like a therapy session. Why is that? It's because, for one, I create a safe environment and safe space for us to converse and connect on a more profound, visceral level, okay? Now, when I'm talking to a woman and it's on a first date, what I like to do is, and this is why I like to equate and I like to, say that life, business, and dating are very similar, because they really do intertwine. As a man, bro, it's like you're health, your wealth, relationships, like it just ties into each other. When you're on that first date, it's essentially like a discovery call. You're trying to ask questions, understand each other, get to see if you guys are a potential fit, right? And so I'm asking her questions and she's asking me questions. And then at some point during our conversation, I opened up a little bit about what I've gone through as a child and how I got to be here today as a man. And so she goes and she just starts pouring out her guts. Like after I opened that can of worms, she starts pouring a little bit of her guts out to me on the first date. And then it's like, it got to a point where she was telling me things so intimate about herself that she had to stop and say, wow, like I've never told anybody that before, right? Now, sometimes these chicks will be lying, right? They trying to run a game on you, but nah, I can tell when they're being genuine. Like she was like, wow, I've never told anybody that before, right? And then I reply and say, well, thank you for sharing. And she goes, thank you for making a space for me to share. And I reply, this is our space to share. And the way that she looked at me, so this is what I'm saying. By you being a little bit vulnerable, it makes you come off as a real human being. And you're able to foster more fruitful relationships and you're able to build rapport. It's the same thing in a business deal, right? You want to be able to build rapport with the person that you're sitting across from. Because at the end of the day, you guys both have desires. You guys are both human beings, right? So you want to be able to build rapport, whether you are trying to expand your network, right? Whether you're trying to garner the attention of the woman that you want. We're all human beings at our core. So for me, let's skip the bullshit. Yes, you are a beautiful woman. Yes, I'm a handsome man or whatever. But I want to know who you are on a visceral level. I want to take a peek inside of your brain. And when I'm dating these women, I'm trying to get inside of their mind. I'm trying to see if they're a good fit and a good addition to my life. So yes, I will be a little bit vulnerable to show them that I'm a real human being, that I bleed. Now, I'm trying to see who you are as a woman. Don't put on that false facade, that front, right? Because that first date period, women are always, actually men and women, we're always trying to put on our best foot forward and our best face and da-da-da. I'm not with none of that shit. I told her straight up, this is me. I'm not here to impress you. I don't want you to try to impress me. Don't put on no false facade. Good girl, I don't really go out like that. Yeah, I know this feel. I'm trying to get to know who you are, all right? This is who I am, take it or leave it. And now we can really, talk on an even level of like, okay, let's see who we are. And now she's spilling out her guts to you. Be a little bit vulnerable, be honest, be real, keep it a buck, and watch how your dating interactions change. This is how you become irresistibly attractive. You don't take yourself too seriously. You're an honest man. Moving on. Number 6. The 6th way to be irresistibly attractive as a man is to have a North Star. And what I mean by having a North Star is to have something that drives you immensely. You got to have a deep desire, a goal, a vision for your life, right? You have to conduct yourself with brevity and be concise. And this ain't something that you could fake, right? Like, for me, it doesn't matter if I had a wild, passionate night with a woman up until 4 a.m. At 6 a.m., my alarm goes off. I'm up. I leave her in the bed. It's time to go train. It's time to go to work. I got my coaching calls. I got to service my clients. I got to do this. I got to read, study, dig, fight, build. I'm fighting for something. I got to get my mom a new crib. I got to help my grandma. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to be everything I said I would be. And that's not something that you could fake. You niggas keep watching self-improvement videos thinking that that's going to change your life. Nah. This shit is earned. You gotta fight for something. You gotta have something that drives you, that digs you, and you have to understand that once you climb that mountaintop, it's the bottom of a new one. So you gotta always dig, always drive. You can never relax. That's a problem with some of you gentlemen. You wanna relax. You can never relax. Même si ou c'est un nègre, ou déjà joué un succès dans vie ça, pas qu'à jamais caguer chaise là. Faut battre la vie, ou goumer avec la vie, jusqu'à ce que vous mourrez. It never ends. And a woman feels that. A woman feels my insatiable desire for conquest. And that makes you irresistibly attractive. A woman feels that passion. When a woman is around me, it's not something that I have to fake. I lead by example. I maintain myself. I'm digging, I'm driving, I'm learning, I'm an intellectual, I'm a renaissance man, right? I'm digging, working, plotting, scheming, trying to grow. I'm elevating her. By proximity to being next to a man like me, I'm elevating her. All because I have that North Star. I know where I'm going. And you gentlemen gotta get real clear with your life on what you want. Take the actionable steps to get there and be working towards that dream man that you see in your mind, be working towards him every single day. So now, when a woman comes around you, she's looking up to you in admiration. And again, this is something that can't be faked. You can circle jerk and watch all these self-improvement videos that you want until you get real clear on what your goal is and stop watching all these different videos and, oh, well, today I'm working on this and tomorrow, no, you need a blueprint, you need structure, brother. You need structure. And you work incrementally every single day. What does your dream life look like? Be as descriptive as possible. How does your dream woman look? What skin color is she? Where is she from? Is she from a two-parent household? What's her accent like? What does she speak? What does your life look like, brother? What do you want? What do you really want? Stop being so fucking vague and take what you want. But to take what you want, you gotta know what you want. And so this is irresistibly attractive to women. But I digress. So you gotta have that North Star. You gotta know where you're going. And a man that knows where he's going is attractive. Now, last but not least, the obvious. You gotta work on your looks, right? Part of, you being attractive, obviously, is your exterior. Now, how you look is important. Like, for example, I told you guys that I was balding. So last year I went to Turkey and I got a hair transplant. And I'm probably gonna go back to Turkey in this upcoming year just to get my shit touched up a little bit because it's at about like 90% and it's not as dense as I want it to be. So I'm gonna continuously invest in myself for me. My teeth used to be effed up. I had a gap right here, teeth were crooked. I went and fixed that. For those of you that follow me on IG, you see that I like to present myself differently. I have a lot of different likes when it comes to fashion and style. It really depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day, what country I'm in, what setting I'm in, if the setting permits it, how I would dress and present myself. But I like to mess around with different styles, fabrics, and this all ties into how attractive you are as a man. Absolutely, right? Working on your grooming, right? Working on your hairstyles, things of that nature. For a long time, I had to rock a super low Caesar because I was going bald. So I got the transplant. Now I can wear it a little bit higher. I'm toying around with different looks. And, I put this one last because the looks are superficial. Now, the looks matter. It's the first thing that a woman sees. You got to work on your physique. But the looks aren't going to keep her. This is why I put this last, right? The looks aren't going to keep her. You got to have all these other things, right? On an internal level that's going to maintain your relationship, because attracting the woman is one thing. Laying down with her is another thing. But continuously leading a relationship is a whole nother skill set. And it's a skill set that I don't see a lot of guys talking about it. And it's because most men can't maintain that burning desire and that passion between a gorgeous woman over an extended period of time, years. Yeah, now we talking about it. That's the honest truth, right? And so this is why I put the looks last. Looks do matter. I'm not here to tell you that they don't matter, right? I'm a tall, fit, handsome man. And I built, the height that came. But I built myself into the man that I am today in terms of my looks and all that stuff, right? But yeah, it helps, bro. Height does help, but height isn't everything. Being muscular isn't everything, right? But how you present yourself matters, your style matters, and you can still crush it if you are any size of a man. It may be a little bit harder, but you can still crush it. This is why you have to get all these other things up the part as well, and you just got to get as many infinity stones as you can. That's the honest truth. If you made it this far, make sure to check out my playlist, okay? My mindset playlist. And brother, if you need help, if you need coaching, if you need help becoming a new man and getting the women that you actually want, press that first link in my description book a free call with me. Let's see if it makes sense for us to work together. Let's see if I can service you and help you out. And I'm looking to make you my next testimonial, brother. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Salute.